The way you explain Mother
sounds
Nature.
but it sounds
She's
like a
sexy,
metaphor
man.
for
I love
life.
it.
The understanding of what an athlete goes through lives so viscerally in my experience. How did this happen to be the last one?
I don't know.
Brian Austin Green,
Greatest intro
There it is.
ever.
I absolutely love this film.
Get into that.
We're giving wrestler.
The one and only George Strombo.
Hello. Hey, made it.
You were waiting for me, weren't you? You're like, where is she? Where's she?
We're going.
I'm honestly so impressed.
Right.
And the feeling that comes to me right now is really just like so much gratitude to being able to like just experience this in real time.
Yeah.
Last Olympics in 2022, I was in Beijing, and obviously it was locked down with COVID, and so things were a lot different. So I haven't even ever seen like or been on a set like this.
Yeah.
For me to be here and experience this with the both of you, it's it's amazing.
The idea that the Olympics are coming up very, very, very soon. I mean, are you taking that in? Are you explain the excitement to me about this happening?
I mean, there's always so much excitement around the Olympics. You know, it's like this moment where, you know, all the athletes have worked their entire lives to be here. You see the nations come together supporting their athletes, nations coming together to compete with each other. It's just such a moment of unity, and to be able to witness, you know, these athletes, you know, put their, you know, everything that they have out there. It's something that I feel like my whole life I've been working so hard to get to the Olympics with the pressure and training that I've never actually like really taken the time to just sit back and observe and witness the beauty that all these athletes get to bring, whether they win or not, but just to be able to show up for yourself in these moments. I think it's so powerful. And so it's really cool to be able to watch that.
That's such an interesting thought because for you from such a young age, this must have been something that you had held so close to your heart, the idea of being at the Olympics in one way or another. What's your relationship now to that thought when you think about yourself being younger and probably just adoring certain athletes and adoring the setting? What do you think about that now?
As a kid, I think, you know, as athletes, we all have the dream of making the Olympics. For me, it was almost like a survival need in order to get to the Olympics. You know, my mom is from Russia, and I grew up in the sport of figure skating, where Russia, you know, and figure skating, there's a lot of incredible athletes that come from there. And the mentality that was instilled in me as a kid was, you know, you're going to the Olympics to be the best, and you're doing a sport to be the best. And to, in some ways, help your family out of poverty, or, you know, there's so many ways that sports can be used to help not only yourself, but the people around you. And so this kind of pressure was instilled in me at a very, very young age. And so the Olympics was always part of my identity. I was always, in my mind, I had this idea that I was going to be, you know, an Olympic champion, and I was going to make the Olympics. And so, you know, throughout my journey, you know, when I came to the realization that maybe going to the Olympics wasn't part of my journey, I started to question why I was even skating at the time, because that was the only motivation for me, was to make the Olympics. And so I started to realize that my identity and my self-worth was wrapped around this idea of the Olympics. And for me, I had to go through a process of letting go of that and allowing myself to be enough as who I am and enough for what I bring to the sport.
The letting go.
Yeah. The letting go, honestly, completely healed my relationship with skating, because up until that point, you know, in my mind, not making the Olympics would have been a failure. But letting go of that idea and allowing myself to be proud of everything that I had done in the sport up until that point allowed me to freely continue with skating with a whole new intention and a brand new energy that actually allowed me to go to the nationals and, you know, give the most beautiful performance of my entire career and leave the sport, closing the chapter in the most beautiful and fulfilling way. And so for me now, the Olympics has a completely different energy to it.
And a different appreciation for it.
And a different appreciation. And I'm able to watch it now and really remove myself from the idea of what the Olympics mean. And it's just allowing me to witness so much beauty. And I feel like every 4 years we get these Winter Olympics, and I always can't wait to sit there and experience the magic that it brings.
That's amazing, because it can be so hard.
Go ahead.
But it can be so hard to appreciate something that is so magnificent when you just have yourself at the center of the idea.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think that's such an important point to bring. And I think as athletes, we're always centering ourselves in the experience, which is normal because, we want the best for ourselves and our performance. And when we're showing up there, there's so much pressure to perform that you have no choice but to sit with that all the time. And I think that, for me, removing that from the equation finally allows me to really sit and enjoy what this is.
And you have a very unique perspective because you know what the athletes are going through or did go through. And does that ever, you talked about the letting go. Does that ever come back to you and you feel a little bit of that understanding of what they're going through and you get it?
And how do you bring that to the work?
Right.
Yeah. So the understanding of what an athlete goes through lives so viscerally in my experience because I've been through the entire journey. I've tried to make the Olympics. I've missed it by just a margin. So I've been on the side of all the athletes that didn't make these Olympics, and I understand their experience. But I also understand the experience of showing up at an event and having worked so hard, to be here and to want to just do the best that you can for yourself and what you know you can do. And so, with everything that I do now with social media, I bring such a grounded experience of knowing what all of these elements combined feel like, and it allows me to move from such an authentic place because I can tap into all of these places when I'm performing and I'm skating and I'm doing everything that I do on social media, or if I'm touring in Switzerland or in Japan doing shows for audiences. All of these lived experiences, I can bring that out and make people feel the thing that I want them to feel because I've experienced so much of these things.
You're so good at that. We
good.
feel your passion on social media.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so glad to do this with you.
Yeah, speaking of which.
Yeah. Do you remember your first post ever?
Ever?
Ever.
Yeah,
I think this is your ever.
Instagram post ever.
Do you remember what it was?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
Absolutely
It's so
not.
cute.
All right. No, it's very cute.
Do you have it?
Look at this.
It has nothing to do with
Nothing to do with
Nothing.
skating at all. What was this day? It says playing all day.
Yeah.
Real football. Playing all day.
So I grew up in Montreal, a lot of athletes around me, and a lot of soccer players. And so growing up, playing soccer is something that I really enjoyed. I'm really not good at it. I have to say, if there's one sport that it seems like I have no talent in, it must be soccer.
That's hilarious.
But every weekend, we'd get the guys together and we'd play some soccer. We'd travel the city. We'd go to different parks, and we'd just have an amazing day. And I feel like that's what I love about having been an athlete and been around athletes. It's like, on Saturdays, that's what we wanted to go and do, go outside and play, and a lot of us were soccer players. I say us. I wish I was a soccer player. A lot of them were soccer players. I wasn't. But even there was a few other athletes that were from different sports, track and field, other ones from basketball. We would all just come together and play this sport and we would have fun, and it would get competitive.
Yeah.
For sure. But no, that's so interesting that was actually my first post, and I actually connected with a friend of mine recently about this photo specifically. And he's like, "Do you remember this?" And I was like, "The good old days."
The good old days. You need to get back together and play soccer again.
Well,
One day in Montreal.
Last time I played soccer, I actually tore an ACL.
Okay,
so-
don't do it again then.
You can watch.
Don't listen to me.
We'll watch them all play. You guys have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll
All right.
be the referee.
So you can randomly pick whatever photo from this table.
Oh my God, there's more photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through everything.
we did the thing, man.
And you have such a beautiful story, as I mentioned. So we would love to hear.
Oh, yeah. So this photo was taken in New York at the Rockefeller Center. And I was performing for the Ice Theater of New York for an audience that really was just walking around. It was really just like, yes, there was an event and people came for the event, but anyone walking around could stop and watch. And this piece was one of my first pieces that went viral before Instagram even existed.
Yeah.
It was a Michael Jackson piece at the time. Growing up, I was a big fan of Michael, and I've learned so much from his movement and how he performs on stage. And so this piece, I performed it for actually like, normally you create a piece, you perform it for one season. I skated this piece for almost 12 years.
What?
Whoa.
And people kept asking me to come and perform this piece at their show or at their event.
This piece is a huge part of your story.
Yeah.
A huge part of your career.
It's a huge part of my story. It's what introduced me to the world of performing. So, you know, in figure skating, normally when you get asked to do a show at the end of a competition, if you've placed well. So if you're in the top 3 or top 4, normally they'll ask you to perform in a competition at the end of the event. But one time I was asked to perform simply because someone had seen this piece, and so I was asked to perform in front of an audience at Skate Canada International, and that's what actually put my skating on the map at the time, and that was in 2011, I believe. And so this piece is a really special one for me. It's what really started everything for me. It's what really reaffirmed to me that performing for audiences and connecting with audiences and telling stories is what I love to do more than anything.
Yeah.
Could you still do it? I'm sure you could.
Can you still
I mean,
do
I
it?
performed it for
How old
12
are you?
years,
Can you still do
so
it?
I probably won't be able to do the technical jumps that I was doing in this because I've been retired for some time. But the piece itself, I'm pretty sure I could probably whip it
What
out
song
at
is
any
it?
moment. I did a few songs. It started with Man in the Mirror,
Oh, yeah.
and then it went to Bad,
Yeah.
and then it went to Billie Jean,
Oh.
and then it ended with They Don't Really Care About Us.
Oh, yeah.
What's
Is
your
that the
favorite
name of the
Michael?
song?
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
care about us. Yeah.
What is your favorite Michael Jackson song?
I want to
guess?
say Man in the Mirror is
Okay.
definitely up there, but You Rock My World
Ah.
is...
What's your favorite?
I love You Rock My
Yeah.
World. I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and, you know, you would play those albums. Everyone would play those albums. And I remember just being like, why are people sleeping? It's like almost like they're sleeping on this song.
Yes.
Even though it was still a major hit, I was like, how is this not the one that everyone loves?
And then with the Chris Tucker
Nothing beats
intro.
Billie Jean. I'm sorry, guys.
mean,
No,
yeah.
I mean
That's a classic,
that
of
is.
course. Yes.
When I was in theater school, one of MJ's dancers came and did a workshop and taught the choreography to that video. And I was like, you best believe I was in the front row. I was like, we are doing this. Yes.
I completely resonate with that. And I think You Rock My World was a song that was slept on a little bit. But to me, like as soon as the song starts, it just like ignites this fire in your soul, you know, just like it's so incredible. And speaking of like working with a Michael Jackson dancer, so I got the opportunity for my last year competing. I decided to do my long program to this old school funk and soul and this new school funk and soul, and I got to work with one of Michael Jackson's dancers that was gonna perform in the last tour before Michael Jackson passed. He was one of the dancers that was on that tour, so I got to work with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
On this. Yes, it wasn't a Michael Jackson piece, but even just like the little nuances, the little moments that we were able to bring into that piece was like I was just
Yeah,
it was
amazing.
really special.
Okay. Let's
Okay,
pick
pick
another one.
Yeah, this is me and my mom. Yeah.
Ah.
So this picture was taken in Montreal. I was visiting. I lived in Detroit at the time.
Okay.
And so I wasn't in Montreal often. And we went out to dinner with my mom. And my mom is the whole reason why I'm even still skating now. She's the one who introduced me to the sport. There were many, many times where if it was up to me, I probably would have stopped for many reasons. The being made fun of as a kid. Also, just like skating is hard. You know, it's like it's a hard sport. And I when I was younger, I would fall a lot. I would go to competitions and come in dead last. And so there was a lot of things that I was dealing with that I didn't enjoy with skating. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today. And she sacrificed everything for me to be able to skate. She would take us on the bus at 5 a.m. in the middle of winter with me and my two sisters, take us to the rink, skate, hop on the bus back to school. She would go to work and then she'd pick up at school, take the bus to another rink, So what she's sacrificed for me to be able to be here is everything. And a lot of what I do now is to give back to my parents.
Yeah.
Because they gave up a lot of their own wishes and dreams for me to be able to do this, and so I'm eternally grateful to them.
Do you remember a time, you were skating since you were very young, a time when you felt you made your mom proud?
Yeah. You know, growing up, I think the first time I won the national title in 2005, I believe, it's the pre-novice national title. I remember I came home with the medal, and I could see how proud my mom was in that moment. And, you know, I had been skating for about 8, 9, 10 years at that point. And so we'd gone through a lot already. And so to live that moment with her was amazing. But then another one is I got to go to Russia for Cup of Russia, a Grand Prix. And I brought my mom with me because it was my first time coming back to Russia since I was born, and also for a competition. And so she was there with me, and I had a really beautiful skate and a long program, and the whole crowd was on their feet, and my mom was there, and she got to see that, and I was just like,
You must have looked straight at your mom.
Yes.
Right? Like that feeling.
Yeah. It was such a beautiful, magical moment that I think will stay as one of my favorite moments in skating ever.
That's awesome.
Special lady.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Beijing 2022.
That's right.
Yeah, this was really cool because of CBC, I had the opportunity to actually go to the games, right? Because I'd never made it as an athlete. And so to be there in person was incredible. And yes, you know, it wasn't the same because we didn't have the crowds there, but just the grandness of the Olympics, and just how many people are involved, and the vibe is so incredible there, that the fact that I got to experience this and be there, you know, as a mixed zone reporter, and, you know, when the athletes were getting off the ice, I got to, you know, talk to them right away. And all of these skaters were my friends because we've been competing together for so many years. So to be able to like be there as the first person they see, and being able to ask them questions about how they feel was just, really special. So
You've been performing for so long, in front of crowds for so long, being the center of attention. Was there a different kind of like nervousness to like strap up with a microphone and be like, okay,
So
all of Canada is going to watch it, like, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm so comfortable on the ice, you know, and for me, this is where I'm just in my, you know, in my own body, and I feel at home when I'm on the ice performing for audiences. But I really enjoyed being able to like share my thoughts, and especially with my experience as an athlete and as a figure skater, being able to connect with these people and bring that to Canada was really, really special. And of course, I was ridiculously nervous because I'd never really done that before. Yes, a little bit, but not like that. And so for me, it was such a incredible learning experience. And it's why I'm back, because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, man.
all right, let's do another photo.
Yes, this was magic.
So my main question about this is because it doesn't look
This
real.
is not AI.
Yeah.
It doesn't look real.
So explain
In the
this
age-
whole thing.
Yeah.
In the age of AI, you would think that maybe this is AI. It's not. So I was introduced to wild ice through my friend Paul Ziska. He'd been doing wild ice, skating on wild ice for many years. And during the pandemic, I was in Calgary, and I reached out to a friend of mine who knew him, and I asked if she would connect me with him because I've wanted to skate on wild ice for so long. And the rest is history, because I did, and now I'm obsessed. But basically, a few years ago, we decided to go to Yellowknife to chase the auroras, the northern lights, and to chase this feeling of skating while Mother Nature is giving us the most beautiful show in the entire world. And so we went there, and it was insane because you don't know when it's going to happen. And so we were at the hotel, basically, as soon as it got dark, we're waiting and waiting. We're looking at the satellite data, the imaging, all the different, and Paul's an expert at that. He knows exactly what to look for. And so he could predict, you know, when it's going to start to ramp up. And so when that happens, he's like, okay, everybody grab your bags, let's go. And we hop in a car, drive not fast, but you know, as fast as we can to the location, and try and capture this beautiful moment. So sometimes we were up until 2, 3, 4 a.m., you know, waiting to get this. But this was really magical because this was our first, I believe this was our second night out there. The first night we didn't get much, but the second night it just went off.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you're out there and you see this, it's just, you just like, it feels like you're a kid again, you know, like you're witnessing something so incredible, that feels unreal, that like we were all just like screaming and giggling like little kids because like, and sometimes we would forget to start shooting because it's so
You're taking in the moment. Yeah.
But
And
talk
so
about being open to opportunities and how the world changes for you. Because I bet when you were chasing the dream of, of medals, you weren't thinking about anything like this.
Yeah.
Right?
where life has taken me, I never, ever could have predicted.
Mm.
And man, am I so grateful for where my life has taken me. And when I look back at the Olympics, yes, making the Olympics would have been cool, but it wouldn't have given me what I'm experiencing now. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I get to reconnect with skating now in a way that reminds me of when I was 6 years old and I was skating for fun, and I was playing, and there was freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't felt that for the majority of my career. And so to be able to reconnect with that now has just really has healed my relationship with skating in incredible ways.
So, looking at that photo and what you just said, the idea when you get on the ice now, it must be an adrenaline in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's especially chasing wild ice. It's so, oh man, like the feeling of that first freeze when Mother Nature creates that first layer of ice. I can't even tell you the feeling that comes up, because it's so, we have so much technology now, and none of the tech that we have can recreate the smoothness that Mother Nature can create on wild ice. The way that it's like, there's no resistance under your blade. It's like you're skating on clouds. There's like nothing under your feet. And not only that, but it's glass. And so you can see the bottom of the lake. You can it's surreal what you get to experience. Yeah. But that window is so short.
Mm-hmm.
You have maybe 24, 48, like maybe you have a few days, but sometimes you only have 12 hours before snow gets on it all of a sudden, and then it's not skatable anymore.
Yeah.
And so to be there and chasing that is like so thrilling in a completely different way than obviously chasing competitive, results or the Olympics. But in some ways, this is even more fulfilling, because then the result of that is an experience that you don't get to experience anywhere else.
The way you explain Mother
sounds
Nature.
but it sounds
She's
like a metaphor
sexy, man.
for
I
life.
love it.
It's like just the way that you were talking about that, like the beauty only lasts so long.
Yeah.
You only have so much time to take advantage of something. That's a metaphor for life. And
Yes.
in all its entirety.
Finding presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the impermanence of it, right?
Yeah.
And everything is impermanent in our lives and in our world. And the fact that it's impermanent, it's actually because of its impermanence that we get to appreciate it, because it's not there. And next year it might come back, but it'll be different.
Yeah.
So every time you experience it, it's one of one.
See, are you using this as a way to appreciate your time with me now? See?
I'm taking it all in right now, Carlos. I'm taking it all in.
This will last.
See, I'm jealous of his hair. Okay, our last one. You too. You have great hair too. Come on. What is happening?
How did this happen to be the last one?
I don't know. Just happens to be.
This is my Michelle. This woman changed my life, When I met her, so just for context, this is Michelle with Selena Gomez. Michelle has been a dancer her whole life since she was a kid, pursued it to LA, and had an incredible career. And when I met her, we actually met on Art on Ice. And Art on Ice is a skating show that has skaters, but it also has artists, singers, dancers, aerialists. And so when I met her, it was in this setting of me as a skater and her as a dancer. And first I was just so in awe with her energy. When we met, there was such a depth in her ability to feel warmth and make people feel warmth. And from that moment on, once we connected, it was almost like everything in my life started to make more sense in some ways. And not only that, but then we started working together. Her as a dancer and choreographer, she started to introduce me to ways of moving and skating that I had never experienced before or even thought of, right? Because she didn't have that lens of being a figure skater. She comes from the dance world. So oftentimes, she would ask me to, do a move here or something like this. And I would think it's impossible to do that. Right. But then we'd get on the ice and we'd try to figure out a way to make it work. And so we were introducing a whole new language to the skating world that we hadn't seen before. And, when my videos went viral, I truly believe that a big part of that was because of this new language that we were introducing to skating. We were making something so authentic that people could feel how different it was. And so we were almost like reintroducing skating to people that loved skating, but also people that didn't know skating. And being able to create that whole space with her has been incredible. And I have to say, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have started making videos. Because not only did she suggest we start making videos during the pandemic, but I resisted so hard. I didn't want to do it. There was so much fear in me because no one was really making videos like that on social media. And it felt very vulnerable to get on the ice and film with the camera right here and express yourself so closely. And then at the same time, moving in ways that aren't necessarily innate to what we are used to doing in figure skating. It felt so vulnerable that I resisted in so many ways. And so she really encouraged me and held space for me to, to find that place in me where I could allow myself to go there. And that's changed my life in so many ways. So, yeah.
It's almost like you found a love language on skates with her, right? It's pretty beautiful.
We did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We did.
And she's hot.
She's beautiful. Yeah, she's...
Just
buddy, like looking at all these photos, seeing where you are sitting here right now, it just seems like the wild ice is your life right now.
Yeah.
Like that's where it's at. We're happy for you, man. Congratulations
Thank
for
you.
everything.
Thank you.
I think the other thing sitting with you, you found your energy. Like you have found that space.
Yeah.
And that's really, really special to be able to be there.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. And I feel like, there's so many things that I'm excited about life, especially knowing that like where I'm at right now, I couldn't have predicted where my life would be now. And I'm so where I'm meant to be. And I can feel that like, I'm so excited for what's next.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Awesome.
Thank you
so much,
buddy.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Appreciate it, really.
Yes.
Now I have to get on skates. I don't even have to.
Oh my God.
Let's
I
do
can't
it.
wait.
You guys have to come out to Wild Ice.
The way you're describing it's like we need to go down and
You
see
have
it.
to.
Like it's pretty
It's
incredible.
incredible.